By Kaplan, please.
Um, I was nisar the last few days about because of a Maisa Shahoya that I'll soon tell. Got me thinking about the pasuk and there's a pasuk in Mishlei Chov Gimel pasuk Tes. The pasuk says, "Ba'oznei ksil al tedaber." Don't talk in the ears of the fool. Pen yovuz leseichel milechel. He'll be mevazer the seichel that's in your words. The ksil not only won't understand it, he'll be mevazer, and it doesn't say he'll be mevazer the words. He'll be mevazer the seichel of the words. I was nisar to that because to think about this pasuk because of a Maisa Shahoya. And then you could ask, what do you care? Like some people would say, what do you care? He'll be mevazer the seichel. What do you have to look at him for? Just close your eyes and just say it and don't pay attention to what the ksil's going to say and what he's going to think. And just say it. On the other hand, if he's not going to understand, so why say it at all? Must be that the ksil does understand what you're saying. He hears what you're saying. We're not talking about such a ksil that doesn't understand. Because then you wouldn't have to worry about him being mevazer the seichel milecha, because he doesn't understand at all the seichel. Only what? It's a ksil that does understand what you're saying, but he doesn't appreciate the depth of what you're saying. And that he says, if he doesn't appreciate it, and I would say it's not that he's going to be mevazet b'yodayim and say something derogatory about what you said. He just won't, not appreciating what you said. That alone is a bizoyan. You have an idea. You should hold it precious. You should hold it precious. And don't just, I saw Rabbeinu Yonah on this pasuk. There's a pirush of Rabbeinu Yonah on Mishlei. This pasuk, which is Mishlei of Gimel pasuk Tes, Rabbeinu Yonah says that the Amru, the Chachamim said, if you have diamonds, don't throw them to the chazerim. There's a Maimra Olam. It sounds like Amri Inshi. Don't throw diamonds to chazerim. So the same thing here. You have a dvar chokhmah. Don't be mevazer the chokhmah by throwing it out to just any somebody doesn't appreciate it. Now, there are people that they just don't care. They don't feel. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't irritate them. That, so what? What do I care what he thinks? What do I care? I'm just going to say my thing. And usually these are what we call airy people that, and once they're talking, they don't really know how to pay attention if the people heard, the people don't hear. Once I was on the bus and somebody that I know got on and sat next to me, so I didn't want to start talking about where I'm going, what I'm doing, so I just asked him a question about himself. And then I got in, he started talking, and the whole way he kept talking about himself. And then he never asked me, where are you going? And I didn't have to worry about it. So, that's called, these kind of people, they wouldn't care if the pen yovuz l'seichel milecha. So what? What do I care? First of all, they don't even notice that he's mevazer the seichel milecha. They don't even notice that he doesn't appreciate it. I don't think we're talking about those kind of people, I would say, because they themselves are Ksilim, that's what I would say. But we're talking about somebody who notices that the person doesn't appreciate what you're saying. And then he thinks maybe he should be misgaber and say the thing anyway. Says Shlomo Melech, don't say it, keep quiet. He doesn't appreciate what you're saying. What made me think about this these days? I saw, a while ago, it wasn't now, but I was thinking about, I once saw a letter written by the Lubavitcher Rebbe to somebody that he was in a tsar. I don't know what the sorrow was. Maybe a parent died, or maybe he was sick, or maybe something else. I don't know what. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe wrote him a letter, and he said to him, listen, why don't you think like this? A person's neshama was here from the beginning of Bria Olam, let's say now, 5,779 years the neshama's been around. I think even more than that, because the neshamas Yisrael were, before the world was created, they were here already. Then, after a person dies, the neshama will stay around. The neshama doesn't die; it stays forever, I guess. The shaila is where it goes. We don't know. It's Gan Eden, Gehenna. You have to see to it. He shouldn't go to Gehenna, but the neshama stays around for nitzchis. So what's the problem in between the 5,000 years and the nitzchias that comes afterwards? In between is a little bit of 70, 80 years, Shmonim Shana, maybe 90 years. Nowadays you see some people live 100 years. Okay, so it's a small little piece. So what is that you're worried about, that little piece? Look at it. I think you could call that, to put it in the right perspective, to see what this life is. How big is it compared to what comes before it and to what comes in after it? They said, so what are you worried about this little piece? Okay, I was very impressed from this. And it was murder, man. How do you serve something, this letter? Recently I was thinking about it. Even though I saw it a while ago, but a few years ago, but I was thinking about it recently. So one day, 2 weeks ago, I was walking in the street in Beit Vegan, and I saw a Yid, his name is Berkowitz, that he is a Holocaust survivor. A Pashut Yid, he doesn't know too much in learning, but he's a Hamish Yid, and like Yiddish, which that already means Lishonenu Makir. But he tells me he's not a Talmud Chochem at all. I mean, he might even be an Amoritz, but he has a certain feeling. He went through the Holocaust, and he has a certain deeper feeling, maybe you could say. So I told him, I was on the street, and I was in that mood of thinking about this. So I told him this letter from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. What was before, it was thousands of years. Afterwards, it's nitzchis. So what's in between? It's a small. So he stopped, and he looked at me, and he said, there must be a big person who said such a thing. I told him who said it, but he says, that's a big person can say such a thing. And he said it again. He said, not simple. And more, he didn't say, he's not the type that he can elaborate and explain what he means. But you could see that he felt something. He got some kind of a deeper feeling. So he said, it's over the word. I had a siyata dishmaya that I said it to the right person. Came another week or 2 weeks later, it's a certain person that I know for many years. I said it to them. I mean, this person was talking about, obviously, about his own business, marrying off children, and looking for dears for the children, and dealing with mechutanim and all that, and he was having frustration with the way the mechutanim were answering him, and as I said, yeah, it's frustrating, and then this word came to my mind, and I said it over. That what is it? A few thousand years on one side, Nitzchius on the other side, and then between, so you have some aggravation a little bit with this one, with that one. The person, I said, so he says, I mean, the in-between is a little piece. Suppose he comes down in a gilgul. It's more than a little piece. I didn't. So I said, okay, so it's 2 little pieces. Big deal. So then I told over to my brother the aggravation that I had from the way this person answered me. That what'll be if he'll come down in a gilgul, so it's not one little piece. So I told my brother Ruby that I told him that I answered, so it's 2 little pieces. So Ruby says to me, and what'll be if he'll come down a 3rd time in a gilgul? He was just being cynical. So I said, okay, so it'll be 3 little pieces. And then I was thinking about it. That means if somebody could ask such a question, he asks a question, and he's looking at me with a serious face, and he asks his question, then he goes back to his business, and, but it means you Bichlal didn't understand the word, no appreciation of what he said. I mean, he's giving you a look on life. He's giving you a way to compare life to something else, to put it in a background. There's a background to life, the before and the afterwards. And to show you what it really is, like don't be wrapped up in this little bit that we're in this life that we're talking about. Understand that it's small compared to Sayes Miyakashi Kalamifrach, like the Gemara says. What'll be if he comes back again? That's the point. You're missing the whole point. You're not understanding what he says. You're not appreciating the depth. You don't want to be Nisara, so don't be Nisara. But meanwhile, I felt like a fool. What do you go telling people? Why can't you be machshiv of what and know who to say it to? You have to be careful. You can't just say things to anybody who there is. Rabbeinu Yonah says you can't take pearls and throw it to the chazerim like that. And really, I would add, and from my experience, that you see it also by not by a word, a dvar chokhmah. There's some people like Milam, for example, that appreciate even less than divrei chokhmah. There's such a thing called nuances. The way people say things, the gestures that they make when they say something, the expression on their face when they say so. I pay attention to all these things, the tone of voice, and there's sometimes the lack of anything. One time I was on the phone with somebody, and I said to them something that I heard from Reb Shmuel Halperin, one of the big Lubavitcher Chos. So he once said, and this is a little bit shocking, this thing. So he said that on the pasuk that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe said, the pasuk said to somebody at the diner why he said a certain thing. So he said, Adam Yirlai Naim B'Hashem Yirlai Levov. So he said on himself, we belong to the second half of the pasuk. Adam Yirlai Naim, but Hashem Yirlai Levov, he said on himself, we are shaykh to the second half of the pasuk. That means to say, I know what the person is thinking, so don't have dynamism. I said this word that he said, this shocking word that somebody could say on himself. Such all of a sudden the telephone it felt like the telephone died, like the person on the other side, he didn't say anything, didn't answer anything. I mean, he could have just said, oh, or that's amazing, or how could he say such a thing, or just grunt, oh, just show that you heard. I mean, such a shocking memory, just to let it go like that. It's also a certain way of reacting, not reacting, or not knowing, not understanding that it has a certain value, maybe positive, maybe negative, maybe you're against it. It has a certain value that you can't just let it go like that. And it was a big mistake, a terrible mistake of me to say it. You have to know who you're saying things to be careful not to say something to somebody. And it's, first of all, for me, it's very, very frustrating. But that's not good. You shouldn't get frustrated. And if it brings to frustration, you should keep quiet and not say. Let the other person, let him talk and say all his things and over again and finish. And you say, yeah, and then he'll be happy. He won't know the difference. What do you have to say of art to him? If he doesn't appreciate it, he just keeps quiet. Second of all, it's also, being mevaza the chokhmah. It's mevaza yourself and mevaza the chokhmah to say to such a person that his reaction is going to be just nothing. Now, this is H is for life. And I'm saying the same thing. I have a special. In this union I have with my brother Ruby, I have a special relationship that I'm able to say over a small lotion that somebody said with a certain tone of voice, and he'll appreciate it. He'll see the not after the chokhmah of it, but the funniness of it, maybe you could say, or he'll understand how it's typical of this kind of person from this kind of group, from this kind of background, that's typical of that person to say it. Or he'll understand that it's different than the way most people talk. That's called somebody that appreciates. And if it's not something special, so he'll say, well, this time it's nothing special. But not just to just not understand. There was once a Meiser. I went into a certain shul, and it was the night for Marav, a shul near Arnov, and it was the night of Erev Shavuot, the night before Erev Shavuot. So somebody was speaking between Mincha and Marav, and he ended his drush, he was saying, and tomorrow it's Erev Shavuot, and we hope Mashiach should come. And even though it's Erev Yom Tov, we're mevater on the kugels. He said, so because it says Mashiach doesn't come Erev Shabbos, Erev Yom Tov, because they're busy being mechin tzarchei Shabbos. He doesn't want to bother them. So this person in his drasha said, let Mashiach come, we're mevater on the kugels. So it was interesting. It was something to notice, something that a person like me notices. That somebody else would say, "No, say sit and so what? It's not a shop. It's not a kishmi. It's not something out of the ordinary. Out of the ordinary. They wouldn't know anyway." But so what? So he said, "No, but I notice these things. It makes an impression on me." So a few years later, I'm learning with a certain person. We were learning Choshen Mishpat from the beginning. And we got I don't remember, Simon Wolf Zion maybe it was. And it says there that you're not done on Erev Shabbos because they won't be able to have Yeshiva Das because they're busy preparing Tzarchei Shabbos. So it says in the Shach, there was Kiblu Alaya, they were Mekabel it, so then you can be done on Erev Shabbos. I said, the Kiblu Alaya means they were Mavata on the Kugels. And I told this person this story over there. Lo, how does it say? Lo kon v'lo zor. Didn't even make a motion with his face, the person. Like he doesn't have any mashmos to him. He's American. He only can understand stupid peeps, dickhead jokes. But he can't understand such a nuance like that. He can't understand. I felt like idiot. What do you have to say? He doesn't know. He didn't grow up in Yerushalayim, so what is he gonna understand such a lotion like that? Bichlal, we have to grow up and not be so childish. The Chachomim, Emes Chachomim, they think before they talk. They pay attention to what they're saying, to who they're saying, how they're saying it. And I remember one time it came out years and years ago that I went to Rab Gedaliah Nadel with somebody in Bnei Brak. And he said a certain day about this union. I mean, he advised the person I took there was my grandfather. He advised him a certain way, but I understood that he doesn't think. Because later on I heard from somebody else that he didn't really think that's the right thing. But he saw there's no choice in that situation. I just said, yeah, you have to do it this way, do it this way. And that was it. He left it like that. That's Gorah. He doesn't waste his words on telling somebody to do it a certain way when he sees, according to the situation that the person was in, it's not going to work anyway. They just said, do it this way, I'm finished. Chachomim don't waste their words. Chachomim don't advise just for nothing. Of course, there is a certain bechina of sichas chun shel talmidei chachomim. And Gedolei Torah used to sit sometimes and tell stories. Abaruch Ber used to tell stories. The Shabbat Rov used to tell stories, each one from his. But they sat with people who understood. They didn't just waste their words talking to just anybody. Anyway, that's the end that I was Nisar on these few days, and I'm sure you could add more and more, but the minimal, that's what I have to say. If anybody has what to be may give and react on what I'm saying, I would appreciate to hear what they say on what they think about this idea.
Okay, and if these people, they can write a comment on the...
Yeah, so I'll appreciate to hear what they comment.
Okay, thank you very much, Rabbi Kaplan.